Colette, a brawler that was overwhelmingly bad in release, but now one of the best brawlers in the game. But how did this all even happen? Well, to find that out, let's dive into the history of Colette. On September 14, 2020, Colette was released as a Brawl Pass Season 3 Chromatic Brawler, alongside her Cheer Sandy Brawl Pass skin Trixie Colette. Back then, her damage from her attack scaled a bit differently. Her minimum damage she could deal at max power level was 280 damage. This is a huge deal, because this means that it will take 6 attacks to take out a Droller like Tick, since her minimum damage is so low. To make it worse, her base damage only work against high spaces, hard cube boxes, or any special bosses in weekend events, and do not work against spawnables back then. So spawnables like Mr. Beast Porter was a nightmare for Colette to handle, since it's based on percentage. Speaking of percentage, her percentage damage was 35% instead of 37% like today. Now if you thought that was all the things that made Colette so bad in the beginning, that's not all. Her Not Odd gadget worked way differently than today. Instead of dealing 1000 extra damage, this gadget was based on Colette's health. When activating her gadget, the next attack will deal 40% of Colette's health as damage. This gadget was extremely situational, only good when at full health, and if you're attacking a low health brawler. Since the damage is actually lesser against a high health brawler without the gadget, you can tell that she was really complicated back then. But as time passed by, she got more simpler with her damage. At the time, she was one of the worst chromatics in the game. 3 days after release, Colette was so bad that they had to give her some emergency buffs. First, they ended up changing so Colette's base damage works on spawnables. They buffed her percentage damage from 35% to 37%. They also buffed her minimum damage by 300 damage, and buffed her super base damage by 1000 damage against special targets. They also reworked her Not Odd gadget. So now it's not based on Colette's health, but the enemy's health. Colette's gadget will deal 37% damage to the enemy's health when activated. It doesn't matter if the enemy has full health or not, because it will still deal the same damage. Also, this gadget will double the amount of damage if it's against special targets. On October 10, 2020, Colette's second star power max tax was released. There wasn't really any difference with the star power, except it was a bit worse, because the shield blocked 10% of the damage instead of 20% like today. On October 22, 2020, Colette's reload speed was decreased from 1.8 seconds to 1.6 seconds. Colette's super recharge rate was also increased by 100%. All these buffs and changes she constantly got her to the A tier, being good in all modes except for Duo Showdown and Bounty. The thing that made her really good was her push it star power, which helps her constantly get her super. If you attack twice on an enemy and use her super and just keep repeating that, you can keep getting your super over and over. On December 15, 2020, Colette's health was increased by 200, and Colette's mass attack star power also got changed, so now it blocks 20% of the damage instead of 10. These buffs ended up helping Colette, making her go to the S tier, being the 8th best brawler in the meta. On February 5, 2020, Navigator Colette was released as the Lunar Brawl 2021 skin, costing 79 gems. In my opinion, I feel like this is one of the best Colette skins in the game. On April 26, 2021, Kairos Type's tier list was released, and Colette ended up going down in the tier list. Colette surprisingly went down to the A tier. She went down in modes such as Bounty and Siege. On June 16, 2020, the Not Odd gadget got a final rework that it needed. Now Colette's main attack with the gadget activated will deal 1000 additional damage on any target it hits. This change was probably one of the best changes it could have gotten. Colette actually ended up going more down. She went down in all modes, and the only good mode she was actually good at was Heist. The reason she went down is because this was near the time Supercell implemented, so all tanks will get a supercharge when they get hitted. And this hugely impacted Colette, because while Colette's trying to get some easy kills on these tanks, they're getting their super while she's doing that. Colette went down to the C tier. On October 15, 2021, the Supercell Mix skin Gladiator Colette was released. On October 27, 2021, Colette's True Silver and Gold skins were released. Also, Colette's Brawler class was changed from Fighter to Damage Dealer. In the beginning of 2022, Colette stayed in the C tier. The problem with this meta is that Colette has tons of counters. The Brawlers that counter Colette are Brawlers with low health but outrange her. On March 1st, 2022, Colette's second gadget Gotcha got added. For 5 seconds, each attack will heal Colette by 80% of the damage dealt. She ended up going to the B tier. Gotcha is probably one of the best gadgets Colette has. This healing really helps out in survivability and can be clutch when she has low health. And this is when her other gadget kinda got useless. So welcome to the garbage bin, Gotcha. For the next few months leading to November 7, 2022, Colette kept staying in the B tier for the first few. But on September 12, 2022, she went up to the A tier mostly because of her second gadget. On November 7, 2022, the Season 15 Power Release skin Inspector Colette was released. This is probably one of the best Colette skin in my opinion, and this was the final change Colette ever gotten. Surprisingly, she never gotten a single nerf unlike the other brawlers. So let's see if Colette can stand being really good until the present day. On November 12, 2022, she stayed in the A tier. On December 31, 2022, she stayed in the A tier again. And in the most recent tier list, she stayed in the A tier. The reason why she stayed in the A tier in these 3 tier lists is because tanks are really good, which means a tank counter like Colette really helps out. And that's the full complete history of Colette. If you ended up enjoying, make sure to consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.